when we were younger, me and Ben could look out of our houses and see a castle lit up at night outside the window.
How far away was it?
Like a couple of
A
miles.
stone's throw.
So you guys have was it hilly? So you could see.
We were on a hill.
Ah, okay.
It's Plantagenet, isn't it? Dover Castle.
What does that mean?
No, it's a big building made of bricks.
The era of kings and queens. So like Tudor, Plantagenet.
Look at us being smart. What is that all about?
It's a pentaveret.
It's not as bad as a pentaveret. Oh, fucking hell, that was painful. Let's go on to a podcast. Hi and welcome to the We Need Roads podcast, and why yes, we do have a merch store now open online, and yes, you can get all your favourite We Need Roads merch right now. We got t-shirts, we got hoodies, long sleeve t-shirts, even a motherfucking tote bag. Head over to Hawker, which will be on our Twitter page and on our Instagram, all the details are there, or just drop us a message on any of our socials.
The tote bag won't actually fuck your mother as well, guys.
Yeah, it doesn't actually say motherfucking tote bag.
yeah.
Although maybe it should.
Version 2.
There we go. It's that good.
Yeah, for any merch needs, you can also email us at weneededroads@gmail.com and we can help you out with links and all that good stuff.
And it's not an April Fool's joke.
No.
Not an April Fool's joke. That
Not
was
an
real.
April Fool's joke.
Neil's an April Fool's joke.
Yes.
Oh, I stopped. I stopped. If you have bought merch for us, take pictures of it and show us and tell us that you've bought merch, and we will bung it all over our socials if you want us to. Like David right now, which you can't see, is holding up his t-shirt, and please put them away, David. We do not need to see those. We even put a poll up on Twitter asking what the collective name for our fans should be.
Oh, I like this.
And
poll, quote unquote.
I mean, there may have been some issues with the same answer being put in multiple times.
It's just
but
coincidence.
It couldn't be more fucking rigged. It just, I mean, like, what was the point?
I mean, Neil, there's a thing where you can't make your own nickname, and the fact that you decide your own nickname is even worse.
It's not cool, man. If you make up your, hey, all my friends call me Thunder.
Yeah. I'm the coolest because I'm Thunder.
I didn't come up with the nickname Ben Lord. You knobheads did that. So if I've got to stick with that, we've got to let the three people that listen to this podcast decide what they're going to call themselves. Probably by their own names.
We had at least 26 votes.
For the record, though, I'm so used to Ben Lord that I looked you up on Instagram as Ben Lord, and I'm like, nope, that's not him.
Is there someone on Instagram called Ben Lord?
There is actually someone, yes.
Oh, that poor person. What terrible life choices have they made up to this point?
Well, he's the Lord of Ben.
Yeah, I think he's his official name, but I just noticed that the face was not the same, so I didn't really look into it.
Yeah, that's generally how I tell what people aren't who they say they are.
Well, the result of the poll was an overwhelming 66% for roadies.
The first one, the second one, or the third one?
The first one. Anyway. After a few episodes of special guests, we are back to the regular We Need Roads lineup. I'm Neil, and of course, as always, I'm joined by Ben.
Hello.
I'm joined by David.
Hello.
And Jose.
Welcome, mates.
Oh, you didn't
Jose couldn't get that high. He cannot go that high.
We should have done that in a three-part harmony. Hello, hello, hello.
And in today's episode, we are going to be going through an absolute metric shit ton of trailers and casting news. There's a lot of stuff going on, guys, and we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's go. First up, the big one. So the story is that Kick-Ass and Craven the Hunter himself, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, has been offered the role of James Bond. Right, guys. Yay or nay? David?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. Love it.
When the fuck do you change your name to David?
Shit face. Shut up, David. It's all about me now. Because I just want to get in there and be positive before you decide find some stupid reason to not like him because you're like, no, James Bond doesn't have fucking dragons in it.
Hey, you don't know me. You don't know what I was going to say.
Tell me you love this idea.
I do love this idea.
Oh!
But I had a but.
Oh,
it did give me a little bit of a midlife crisis. Because all of a sudden, James Bond is my age. He was always, what? I met James Bond wasn't 33. In like, I'm sure he
Interesting.
probably was when they were coming out, but he weren't.
Yeah.
But now he's my age, and I could be James Bond, and then I started thinking of my life choices, and I'm not as a MI5 agent or MI6 agent or whatever the fuck.
I did do a little research. The previous iconic Pierce Brosnan was like what 43 or 38. He was late. He was older, so this is a young Bond for Aaron Taylor Johnson. So I understand what you're feeling.
But how old were the other Bonds? Like, how old was George Lazenby when he stepped in? We should have to do.
I think he was the youngest. Lazenby,
I think he was, right?
Yeah.
And then Timothy Dalton wasn't exactly like he wasn't super old.
I think he to Aaron Taylor Johnson is probably the youngest. If anything, the feel of the youngest, because even Daniel Craig,
he was 38 when he was Bond for the first time.
Sean Connery was 32. Lazenby was 29.
What?
Excellent.
Wow,
he looks just a lot older than he seems.
Yeah. Side note, I think just in general, people look younger now than they did back back then.
Times were hard back in the day, Jose.
Fact.
There was toiling in the fields, and
polio shots weren't as popular. But no, I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Aaron Taylor Johnson, and I'm excited to see him. He's really good at just kind of being into his roles. One of them being in Tenant, you don't even realize it's him until you maybe watch it the second time. He's the guy at the end with that receives 1/3 of the timey-wimey
mechanism.
thing. We don't even know what it is, but he's one of those. He's that soldier that receives it, and I'm like, wait a minute, he looks familiar,
mate. Like for me, he's not the natural choice, but in a good way, because he doesn't come with star baggage. In that every role he plays, you don't think, oh, that's Aaron Taylor Johnson. No. He's just the guy he's just the character he's playing. I mean, Kick-Ass could not be more different from something like Nocturnal Animals compared to something like Godzilla. He disappears into the role when you see one of his films, and you see the character rather than the actor.
Yeah, totally. Did you see him in the role when he played a young John Lennon?
Nowhere Boy.
Nowhere Boy, I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's what launched him, wasn't it?
Really my God.
He also met his wife on it, who was a director.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that's where they met. That's really cool. But like he was beyond phenomenal in that. Like I was blown away. I think that was
here's the question. Is he English?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because he's so good with the American accent. I didn't realize. I just thought he was good with a British accent.
Well, I was about to say, and I think what the role that probably got him the Bond in the conversation with Bond was Bullet Train, playing like the English assassin, going toe to toe with Brad Pitt. It'll be interesting to see what response if he does get though when Kraven the Hunter comes out, because as we know, the Sony Marvel films are generally bollocks. You can have a good like Tom Hardy is good in them. You can see every time I watch a Venom film, I'm like, I can really see what Tom Hardy's trying to do, but the film and the script just lets him down. And I wonder if it's going to be something like this with like Kraven the Hunter, where you like Aaron Taylor Johnson's really good in it, but the story's bollocks and the film's a bit pants. I just wonder whether there'll be some kind of backlash if Kraven's another stinker, like at the end of the year, like he comes out and goes, "Oh, I'm Bond," and everyone's like, "Yay!" at the minute, and then Kraven comes out and it's fucking terrible, and everyone's like, "Oh no."
Well, I think we know if the movie's bad, it's not going to be because of him. And then, at most, I'm probably just going to think, okay, this isn't Kraven movie. This is just a movie about a different guy, and it's not connected to the Spider-Verse at all. That's where I'm going with it.
I mean, that's true, but Jared Leto didn't come out of Morbius. Like,
that one's a tough one, though.
I barely came out of Morbius, man.
That guy's Teflon.
I mean, your mate did tell him to fuck off, so...
That was really funny.
Jared Leto does pick some random characters to play.
He does, and everyone thinks that he's so like arty and cool because of it. But like, I don't agree. I don't think he's all that. But that's just me. Anyway, back to James Bond. Yeah. It's good. I think it's going to be great to have a modern younger actor playing Bond. I think they could go really far with it. I think it will really stretch the character. And I think it will make them like modernize. Someone like Aaron Taylor Johnson is going to bring like a freshness to it that people aren't going to push back against originally or like initially. Because remember when the last trailer from the last Bond movie came out and everybody went, "Oh my God, they're making 007 a woman! I can't believe that! What a load of shit!" Which was, a horrendous reaction to something that could have been quite fun and interesting.
Was that Lashana Lynch, wasn't it? Or was that?
Well, yeah.
And she was 007 briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was. And, and even, I guess technically she still is because we all know how that last movie ended. So, I think the upshot of having someone like him who will like disappear into the role like Neil says, but will also bring this like fresh attitude Well, I think it would be great. I think they could take another step towards that kind of Jason Bourne territory, or they
Ooh,
could take a step. They could take a step back and they could do the more classy kind of Sean Connery-esque. Like he's got range, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
he's got
And if
charisma too.
yeah, so like he could do it. He's going to slick his hair back. My question is, do you think they're going to shift canon slightly? When I say that, I mean, do you think that because of the way the Bond movies have developed over the years, and you get to see like the classic Aston Martin DB5 and all of the cool gadgets were in the last one, like even like the fake crocodile and stuff. Like, do you think that they're going to canonize the fact that when you become 007, you also change your name to James Bond, and that's how they get away with having different people play Bond over the years?
I think that's one definitely good way of doing it. But the rumours I were hearing a little while back about the next Bond film is that, because obviously they wanted Christopher Nolan to do it, and he's like basically he said no, but then you're like, is he though?
Yeah.
But he wanted to do it as a period one, as like a 50s, 60s Cold War film.
Oh wow!
Did he?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So set it
All right.
back in the times of when spycraft was a bit more subterfuge, and I think that's more, if that's what it takes to get Nolan to do it, then I'd be all for it. However, there was another rumor going around this week that the producers wanted it to be a little bit less serious, like the last ones were, and go back to it being a bit more fun.
I hope that doesn't
Interesting.
happen, because like Roger Moore's was basically a spoof of the role.
Well, I think this is their opportunity to kind of take a little bit of everything. I mean, this is almost.
Well,
in
they
a
got
way
to
a
pick one
soft reboot.
direction. Do you go reboot and start with a fresh young Bond, and that way we get to experience all the bits we like seeing it for the first time again in the new universe? Or do they just, like Ben's idea, which is good and it works, where my name is Bond? It's not. It's like the whole Mr. and Mr. Smith thing. He's Mr. Smith, except he's not Mr. Smith. He's like Dave Johnson or Aaron Taylor Johnson from down the road.
I think it's a soft reboot, honestly.
You think it'll be modern day still then? Well, again, it depends who they get to direct it. I think that's now the big question, isn't it? Who the director is.
And if this rumor is confirmed.
Well, that's about to say, that's the thing. It's weird that they've announced he's been offered the role when he hasn't confirmed he's taken it yet.
When he hasn't taken
so I'm wondering whether they've just released the news on purpose, leaked it to put pressure on him, or to test the waters and see what the reaction was.
Yeah.
It's interesting as well because that role is like you sign up for 3 or 4 movies
So
like straight away.
Decade minimum.
That's the next 10 years of his life. Like, so that's a big decision he's making there. He's like, am I going to be James? I'm just now going to be one of the James Bonds for the rest of my life.
But now would be the time in his 30s where he's old enough to have some gravitas, but young enough to be able to do things. And honestly, I think if he takes this role, it could be a response to the Mission Impossible films and Tom Cruise kind of being ready to retire his role in those films.
Yeah,
I think if they're smart, that's what they do, is they bounce off of that.
I still love the crossover, man. Imagine the Mission Impossible James Bond crossover, man. James Bond.
I mean,
it never happened, but
that's Marvel versus DC level right there, honestly.
It is.
It never happened, but I'd love to see it because I think the last few Mission Impossibles have been better than the last few Bond films.
Yeah. Apart like pound for pound.
Skyfall was the last amazing.
Yeah, and then after that, it's like
Skyfall was absolutely phenomenal, but a lot of that was because they had an amazing bad guy.
But what's interesting with the Bond is as well, they're now talking about the other rumor for director is they want Denis Villeneuve.
Oh my god! But I mean, I guess if they've got Bond money,
but with that means they go right. So Bond girls, Zendaya and Rebecca Ferguson. Now,
Jesus!
I always sort of said what I always said with
Neil Spankbank there.
She's already proven her worth, honestly.
Yeah.
She could do it.
She's kind of done that role, though, hasn't she? She might not want to do the same role again.
Yeah, it would be a little weird, but people have done it before.
Rumor of the week is, and I don't know anything that confirms this, just the internet, is that they want Sydney Sweeney, just because she's the girl of the moment.
Yeah, I can see that.
She's like the Denise Richards of our generation, basically, isn't she? But
I guess
a bit better actress.
It's a horrible thing to say.
I know. She's a better actress, I think.
She's a better actress. I just don't know if she's an action star or even a potential lead. I think she's a great supporting actress.
Jose, honestly. None of the women in the Bond films are leads, are they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's fair. But like, I think a good supporting actress, I think.
No, I'd challenge that. I'd challenge that. Who was in the last? What was the? Is she Mexican? The actor that was
Oh,
in
what's
the
her name?
last...
The one that had the one scene where it
Anna
was
de Armas.
Yeah, Anna de
Armas.
Armas, who
Yeah.
It's the best thing in the film.
absolutely destroyed
Yeah.
it. She absolutely killed it. She
Yes.
was so good. Like I mean, like if they don't bring her back, waste. Like I think I
Yeah.
rate her highly on every level anyway.
Yeah.
But like that level of Bond girl is smart, and I really
Actually,
I'm all about
here's
that.
a fun little twist. If we go Ben's route, where they do just say, "Hey, 007 means your name is now James Bond," they bring back Anna de Armas and they tie in the Daniel Craig movies, and that's like a subtle way to like give a nod to.
You don't have to
his
recast
films.
everyone as well in like the support staff either, do you? You can,
Yeah.
like-
I mean, but they've had like Judi Dench was M for so long, like through the end of Brosnan, yeah. So like they can do it. They do.
I gotta admit that kind of makes it more interesting for me now.
I think for me, it's who the director is and where is it going to be a reboot? Is it going to be a soft reboot? Is it going to be
Yeah.
a take it back to the beginning kind of one? That is going to what gauge my interest because I think Bond's almost a poison chalice in a way because
Ooh.
it has to hit so many iconic aspects of what is a Bond film in every Bond film. Otherwise, everyone goes, "Oh, it's not Bond."
I challenge that because Casino Royale, that totally proved it wrong because he didn't even have his signature drink in the first film.
But that's what I mean, Jose. But there's a million things that he could have in it that still, like, it still makes it a Bond film.
All right.
Right, I think so. Wrapping up our Bond talk, I think we're all quite happy with the idea
Yes.
of Aaron Taylor Johnson. We're all in
And
agreement. That
Which
is a
story?
rarity.
Sorry,
I'm
which story
in.
do you want him to do that they've not done yet? I've got all of the books here, and I'm just thinking like, which story haven't they done, which they can adapt? And I'm thinking
don't
like,
know.
it doesn't necessarily have to be an Ian Fleming novel,
We'd have to break the fourth
where
and
you can
fifth wall
actually
to do
fucking
that.
see what people are looking at.
Yes, David has an entire wall of books behind him.
Next,
I'm gonna take this moment to just put in something that doesn't fit anywhere else.
That's what she said.
Hey,
the name of your sex tape.
at the time of recording, this is probably the closest we'll be to being able to say this. It is now 10 years of after the release of one of my top 3 Marvel films of all time. It is the anniversary of Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I honestly think it is one of the top 3, if not top 2, only to maybe Endgame. But I love that film, and it took a long time for any other films to really to top it for me when it comes to Marvel stuff. Yeah, I just saw this video talking about how they finally used Captain America properly, and that's how kind of set his character off in a lot of the other movies.
This has been your Marvel Minute with Jose, and yeah, I agree, mate.
That was
it's
10
brilliant.
years ago.
10 years ago. It's weird because it feels like it was longer, yet not as long. It is one of those.
Tyler Lee sex tape.
Hey,
Well, when was
all right.
Iron Man out? Like 2008, something like that.
Oh, the first Iron Man 2008. Yes, you're right.
Right, well, moving on from stuff that happened 10 years ago. Sorry, Jose.
Yes, I understand.
An absolute metric shit ton, and yes, that is a We Needed Road metric of measuring stuff, have dropped recently. And first, I want to talk about a trailer for a film called Late Night with the Devil, which has just had a small cinema run here in the UK and will be dropping on Shudder worldwide next month, which has been a big hit for an indie film making back its already small budget. Now, the basic conceit of the film is that a struggling late-night talk show in the 1970s called Jack Delroy, played by Polka Dot Man himself, David Dasmachian, invites a girl who is supposedly possessed by the devil onto his live TV show in a ratings ploy on Halloween, and of course, things go badly wrong. Guys, what did we think of the trailer? David?
It looks so spooky. I love the 70s aesthetic of everything of this talk show, and I think I don't know how it will be like an hour and a half film just based off what we've seen in the trailer. It looks more like a 50-minute short film almost.
It's a full-length film, David.
I know, but that's what I'm just saying. It just looks like it's only got content for like 50 minutes, so it'd be interesting to see how they fill the rest of to make it an hour and 40 minutes or however long the film's going to last. But yeah, I was a big fan. This is a resubscribe to Shudder film to me because I have cancelled my subscription. But yeah, that's coming back.
Oh,
just for this film.
I have to say, as someone who's not a horror fan, this definitely got my attention. And I have to say, David Dalsmachian, I'm a huge fan of his. And one thing I wanted to mention was that we all probably know that he was kind of broke out with The Dark Knight, where he had a small role as one of the institute patients that the Joker kind of let loose. one thing I found out in an interview, that was actually his first ever motion picture role. And he had done one thing before that, outside of like maybe stage play acting, but like on film or in the movies, that was his first role, and he just knocked it out of the park in my opinion. And he's ever since played some just really great side characters. So I'm glad to see him get a leading man role. This is probably one of the few time like situations where I could see him as a leading man, but I'm really glad to see him kind of advance to this.
Yeah, for me, this film looks great, and I think they've really nailed the 70s TV show aesthetic of it all. I've heard some people online compare this to the UK TV classic Ghostwatch. And Jose, I don't know, David, you know about Ghostwatch?
No, I've never heard of it. Is this like the TV show that you worked on for like 5 minutes?
No, that was I'm Famous and Frightened Volume 3, which definitely doesn't exist. Ben worked on it as well.
Oh, did you?
We were runners.
I did.
Ben had to go and get KFC for one of the celebrities.
Did you come across anything spooky in wherever you were? Was it a castle? Was it a house?
No, but I remember we were filming a scene where they were supposed to walk around Dover Castle and like listen out for like spooky things. And I walked into the production trailer and slammed the door. And everyone was like, "Shh, what the fuck are you doing? Oh my god, shh!" And they freaked everybody out. And they were like, "Oh god, that's great." They all thought that they heard like a ghost. It was me slamming the production like door. I was like, "Oh, sorry."
I remember they'd put like a lady's ring in one of the dungeons and like drawn a circle around it, and we had to like smudge the line a little bit and like so it looked like it had been broken by a spirit. The best thing was there was a UK talk show guy called Roy Walker, who is just a legend of like game show TV in the UK. He was just taking the piss out of the whole thing, but to such a level that the presenters weren't aware of it. And I remember us just pissing ourselves. We was out on a parapet and they were filming, and they're like going, "Oh, we're looking for spirits, and is any names coming to you?" And he's like, "Yeah, Farrell, Colin Farrell." And the presenter doesn't get it and just goes, "Oh well, there was lots of Irish in the area at the time, so yeah, that could be a Colin Farrell you're hearing there." And like he was basically doing Jim from The Office before Jim from The Office was a thing. You like turn and look at the camera.
He did something about Jameson as well, didn't he? He was just like, "Oh yeah, spirits. Someone Jameson. And then we're all in the back just pissing ourselves. And no one gets it.
No.
Just no one gets it.
He was on such another level from the other celebrities on the show.
He was
so getting kind of tying that back to Ghostwatch. So Ghostwatch was a UK show. Now, you have like your early evening entertainment shows in the States, guests come on, celebrities, they're there to promote stuff. Like the modern day equivalent in the UK would be like watching The One Show on a Halloween special, on like Halloween. And like you'd have the presenters. So these presenters that you've watched being regular TV presenters for years, and then they go, "Oh, we're at a haunted house tonight, live on the BBC One at 8:00 at night." So before the watershed as well, because you can't do anything bad in the British TV before 9 in the old days. And then what happened was it basically turned into like Poltergeist, and like people were getting possessed. Like there was like scary small children, and
it just like Blair Witch Project.
It was basically Blair Witch Project, and it was like wow, back in the I was going to say mid to late 90s, I think it came out. And
it was late 90s, wasn't it?
Late 90s, yeah. And so it absolutely, the fact that just people thought it was real when it was happening. I mean, should have been tipped off when Craig Charles was on it, but it's like Lister from Red Dwarf is a thing. But yeah, so a lot of people are kind of saying this has kind of got that vibe to it. It's got like the Ghostwatch vibe to it. So I mean, you can sort of infer from the trailer that okay, something's going to go badly fucking wrong in it. But yeah, what a quality name for a film. I love the poster, but there is a bit of controversy surrounding it, and that involves AI.
Ooh.
Now, there's been a bit of outrage, and some people have actually been calling for a boycott of the film. Now, I think taking into account this is a small independent film that cost, I think, under a couple of million, I think the outrage is a little over the top in this case. So, because the film is about a TV show, there's 3 still image intertitles used during the film when they go to commercials, David. So that's how you obviously get around the show format thing. And they were AI generated, but crucially, still edited by graphic designers and people who were employed and paid by the film company. So they're using AI as a tool to create something from scratch, but that to me isn't that bad because they're still paying the graphic designers they're still doing the work on it and they're getting paid for it.
If the graphic designer is using AI as an extra tool, as like an extra brush in his to paint his canvas with, then cool.
Yeah, I think as long as nobody's like lost their jobs because of AI, that's when AI becomes an issue. When you bring it in to replace humans,
that's when we're like, "Fuck you, Skynet."
Okay. Yeah, but when it's used as an aid by humans,
It doesn't mean it's Skynet.
then it's perfectly okay.
I'm sorry, Skynet. I didn't mean
Like
that.
like how like Jose in Beyond the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, whatever that Spider-Verse film was called.
Jose was in Beyond Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
My
man,
man, he
it's
was the
there.
main character. How did you miss him?
Oh, what? He was Spider-Man? God damn it. Oh, that's why.
How they were using AI in that to aid the animation, to help with the smiles and how the frowns and stuff were working.
Helps connect the emotions, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it just sped the process along. So the animators weren't working like 50, 60-hour weeks or whatever, sleeping under their desks. They were able to use AI as
Yeah.
an aid to get the job done.
Even I use AI for photo editing because it helps with taking things out of backgrounds or objects or people, so that way I can kind of focus more and more time on the actual people.
Yeah, man,
in the front.
exactly, mate. I definitely don't use AI at work, just in case people at work are listening to this. I have never once used ChatGPT to come up with any kind of articles.
I mean,
or
I think
any
I
kind
feel
of
like you got away with
writing.
that, David, because you mispronounced the name of the software. Maybe maybe on purpose.
ChatGPT. Oh,
Chat
what?
GBD.
Did you
GB,
add
whatever.
another U or Y in there that wasn't necessary?
That's exactly.
Oh,
and
oh, yeah.
then
Chat BBC.
just like AI would.
Chat PVT.
Like British people would.
Right, let's bring it back. Bring it back. And next up, guys, we are going to be talking Star Wars: The Acolyte trailer. Now,
I don't know why I
Ben,
whistled.
you are Mr. Yeah, I don't know why you did either, Jose. Ben, you are Mr. Star Wars amongst here. You have the tattoos.
You have Star Wars tattoos. What Star Wars tattoos do you got?
We need to post pictures of this.
Oh, what is that? It's too blurry.
Oh, Millennium Falcon.
Oh, I can see the
Very
Millennium
nice.
Falcon. Ah!
Wow, Ben.
I got that.
Eh.
I got that on Star Wars Day last year, and then I spent the whole day at Galaxy's Edge
Fuck yeah.
in a massive nerdgasm.
Nice. Very nice.
I feel
Is
that's
that
what
Orlando
David just had.
or California?
California.
You're too far away.
I know. Hands across
Anyway,
America.
Ben, The Acolyte.
Hi. The Acolyte. I mean, come on, man! Like, what a trailer! It looked like a bunch of fun. Like, it doesn't really give that much away. It doesn't really hand you story, but like, you get a feel for the world that they're trying to create. It's cool. I mean, I'm not gonna judge it on the basis of this one trailer because, like, some of the trailers for like Ahsoka weren't great. Like, I remember watching the first Ahsoka trailer and went, "Oh, that's fucking amazing!" And the second one came out, and I was like, "Oh, that's exactly the same." Fuck. I think it's a weak trailer for what's going to be a really good series. And I think that it stands to really push the boundaries of what we know as the Force and Star Wars and that whole thing. But yeah, trailer wise, sure, whatever. It wasn't a great trailer, but I think that's by design. I think they wanted to wow you with a shot of all the lightsabers at the end and like the baddie running around being all like, "Yeah, I'm the first Sith, motherfucker. What are you going to do about it?" Like, and that's really kind of all you get from that trailer from my point of view.
For me, I think it kind of reminds me of the situation with Andor. Like, we were like, "Oh, okay, it looks fine.
Yeah.
It's very pretty," but there's no way to really emphasize how good the story is going to be. You
And
know?
perhaps that's better, right? Because I think if you've got a trailer that's like, "Oh, it's fine," generally the shows are better. Because if you've got a
Yeah.
trailer that's all like, "Wow," I don't know how many times I've said this to friends when they're like, "Oh, the trailer for that film looked amazing." I went, "It's dog shit," but the trailer looked really good. That's the point of trailers. Like,
Mhm.
if you've got a really shit hot movie or show, you can be a bit more oblique about your trailer. It doesn't have to show you everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to sell you on it. I mean, yeah, you're exactly right, Jose. When Andor on paper was the least wanted Star Wars thing ever. Oh,
Yeah.
great! That guy from the film that was a bit boring and killed a few people.
Oh,
You got
don't-
two
It
faults.
wasn't boring.
He was
Don't-
boring. He
Kinda
was
was.
Blandor.
Oh.
He was
Kinda
called
was.
Blandor.
He-
Cassian
oh.
Blandor. And anyway,
Blandian Blandor.
Yeah.
Wow.
from Blandasia. But yeah, you're just watching it going, "Oh, why? 2 seasons of this, really?" And then you watch Andor and you're like, "Oh no, they've done something fucking awesome here."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everyone's awesome in that show. I mean, yeah, when I watched this trailer for the first time, I just wrote down like my initial streaming consciousness thoughts. I was like, bit too many younglings there for me. I don't want it to be a kid show because that first poster was like just blood up a wall, and I was like,
Oh,
"Ooh,
that poster was
that
killer.
was killer."
Literally
And
killer.
I was like, but lots of small children, unless yes,
Unless
Order
all the
66.
small children die, man. That's what we want to see.
I mean,
Chill.
father
Yeah, they said-
of the year to be David there, calling for small children to be murdered.
The silence.
Fictional children. Fictional children.
Fictional children.
But I think that
Starts with fictional children,
yeah,
Jose.
there's a lot of like there's a lot of making up filling in the spaces, should I say, that these series do, where they make a movie, then it's not great, but it's Star Wars, so I'm into it. But then they'll take this idea of like when Anakin kills all those younglings in
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
Star Wars fan, my ass.
I was thinking
Come on,
so
man.
much.
He
Star
was
Wars
brain
there.
farting. It's okay. Everyone brain farts.
No, apparently I'm not allowed to. I have to be on my A game now. But when Jose makes a mistake, you fucking watch. But I think like the interconnected stories now, like when Anakin kills all the younglings, like it sucks and it's a brutal scene, and you're like, all right, that's it. He's too far. But if you then build a show around nurturing younglings and showing them growing up in like a empire kind of existence, then you get more of an emotional response to when you go back and watch that movie. You're just like, you'll go and watch a series of these like younglings being trained and then becoming like saviors and legends, and then you watch that scene where a bunch of them just get mown down by Anakin, like mercilessly.
So what you're saying, Hayden Christensen's going to come back again and murder them all?
I think, you know what, I'm all about Hayden Christensen. I think he was given a rough time in the first 3 movies, and he came back, and everyone loves him, and that's great. And more of Hayden Christensen, but less killing children, please. Yeah. But I think if they do that and they give you an emotional connection to the younglings, then when you go back and watch that will hit harder, and you'll get something more out of that movie again. So
those younglings in the trailer, they were blatantly just saying what they wanted their master to hear. Like, they weren't fucking feeling peace. What do you feel? Peace.
Oh, and that one kid who says, when you've got a small force, powerful kid, and they say, "I see fire," that's the kid you want to put in timeout and keep an eye on. They're like, red flag. Yep. You see fire?
Jedi timeout. Yeah. That's amazing.
Jedi timeout.
I would think you want to talk to him a little more instead of just getting rid of him.
No, that's not the Jedi way.
On the naughty step.
Yeah, no,
on the naughty planet. Oh, you see fire? We're going to put you on fucking Hoth. There.
Ah, man.
Now, and also, other things from the trailer. There was a Wookiee. First time we've seen a Wookiee outside of the other things. A darkness rises, was said. We see some really bad spaceship parking on an ice planet. And, of course, the really cool final sequence where you see that red lightsaber hurtling through the trees and what looks like about 7 Jedi younglings run off to what I assume is to die quite horribly. Now, my thing with the show is, right, yeah, this, like we said at the start, nothing wowed me in this trailer. There wasn't that, like, moment in it. It was just like...
I mean, it was still pretty cool.
I feel like once you've seen one Star Wars trailer, you've seen them all. At this point.
They're all pretty much connection to the story.
Very much the same at this point.
Yeah. Nonsense.
They are, man. They're like, you see like the one trailer.
Like, the Kenobi trailers
and
were.
You'll be like, oh, you know what?
The Kenobi trailers were just all about all the wow of like, oh look, it's like Hugh McGregor and he's like throwing a lightsaber around. That's like the whole of those trailers were like that. This has got a little bit more depth to it. It's got a bit more of a like. It's like, oh, okay, so the Jedi are basically a cult, and you've really got to sit with that, because it's like it's a religion, So like, I got a lot more from this trailer than I did from the Andor trailer from what's the other series I'm thinking of? I mean, like, you can even compare it to the trailers I watched for like Bad Batch and stuff like that. Bad Batch trailers were just all about like boom, pow, whiz. Kablam, 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 pew, pew, pew. So like this one, I think this one's got a little bit more to it. I just don't think it's a good trailer. I don't think it's a bad showing of what's going to happen. I don't think it's.
You think it's fine?
A good trailer. I think it's fine. Fine out of fine. Fine out of 5.
My final thing I want to say about this is, I don't know what the tone of this show is or who it's for yet, because having that many younger characters makes me think, well, are they going to be around? Are these kids? Because you don't even like bar Carrie-Anne Moss. Oh yeah, Trinity's in it. Trinity being a Jedi, which is cool.
The actual Trinity.
That's fucking awesome, though.
Yeah. The second you see her face, you're like, of course she's a Jedi. Like, just why not? It makes perfect sense.
Hey-o.
But having that,
I'd love to have seen her as a Sith though. That would have been.
She
cool.
also would.
Well,
you
it
never
might
know.
just happen, man.
Never know.
See her with that blue lightsaber. Wait, did you even see her lightsaber?
No, because she was just using the Force.
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember.
Just force.
Just like
yeah,
boom,
so,
boom,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
She might be.
But having that many young characters, I mean, is it going to be for a younger audience, or? But then you see that poster with all the blood smeared up the wall, so I don't know what the tone of the show is yet. I don't know who it's for. Is it going to be like lighter and more fun? It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like it's going to be pretty hardcore. But then you've got that many kids in it, which I think David's on point. I think there's going to be a lot of dead children.
I feel like the trailer brings in the general audience, and the people who pay attention to the poster know what's going to happen.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, from a trailer that was fine, we go to a trailer that was made me want to rip my eyeballs and ears out of the sockets and send them to hell. And stay in hell and not be reborn, because we're going to talk the trailer for the Crow remake. And the first line in the Crow reboot trailer is, "What's the first thing you liked about me?" And I'm still struggling to find something from this way too long 3-minute trailer that basically shows you the whole film already.
Yeah.
I think you'll find it shows you parts of other films.
Oh yes, well that as well. Now, okay, first up, Bill Skarsgård. He looks like a meth head Joker light with his tattoos, and of course, you really don't want to come out the gate with fucking Jared Leto Joker comparisons. The trailer also shows us how Eric and Shelley are killed. And that line, "When someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead." Why couldn't you have Tony Todd reprise his role from the original, but also not have Skarsgård's character be Eric? There are other crows in the comic books, and just the whole continuity of it.
I completely agree.
The Post Malone Travis Scott Aussie song. No.
Just
not heavy on your songs, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this, or if you listen to the podcast very often, but you can make the worst movie ever. If you put the wrong music on it, like, you will incur the wrath of Neil. Yes. Like, you could make the worst piece of trash movie about Neil's life. If you put some rad music on there, he'll be like, you know what, it was terrible, but I'll give it 2 out of 5. But like, you make the world's best movie, and you put a bad song on it, or like an inappropriate bit of music in there, Neil will hunt you down, and he will kill you till you die from it.
And what if you make a really terrible looking film and also have a really terrible song in it, when the original film was known for an amazing soundtrack of like mid-90s alt rock and metal? And I mean, one thing I did like, I was like, oh, well, at least the violence looks good in it. You know, there's that really nice shotgun blast to the face. And then immediately I thought, they should have used, there's a band called Machine Head, they should have used the song Davidian, because what is the chorus from that song? "Let freedom ring with a shotgun blast." I mean, come on, people. It's right there for you. Also, it probably would have been a shitload cheaper than Post Malone and Travis Scott. I didn't like the makeup. It looks like a bit of fucking eyeliner, not the whole face. And most of the trailer, he doesn't even have the makeup on. I mean... And the scene where he's walking up the stairs and getting blasted by all the bad guys is just a rip of the OG film, where Lee does the same, but obviously much, much better. I did like the bit where he shot the guy through his own chest to kill the guy behind him. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, where's that from?
Die Hard 3.0.
Yes, Jose.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was.
Where they had to like use the sound of the gun going off to avoid saying fuck. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
PG-13? No, fuck.
I was really disappointed on that one. Come on, just say it once. That's all you gotta do. It.
The last thing in it that I hated, the auto-tune at the end of the trailer. No. I mean, the rest of the soundtrack better not suck.
Believe in crows after death.
No.
I mean, as someone who's didn't really watch the first one, I still don't even like the.
You should just stop talking right now.
Ooh.
I didn't expect you to.
Jose,
I feel really mean now. I genuinely didn't mean that. Sorry.
Let me front.
From the perspective of someone who was like new to this thing.
So you haven't seen the original, Jose? That's fine if you haven't.
I have not. So I have no connection to the original. And looking at it multiple, like at first I was like, I was indifferent, but then the second or third time I watched the trailer, I was just like, it didn't really seem to come up with anything original. You know, we've already kind of compared a couple of the shots to other things in movies. So even as a new viewer, this doesn't really attract me to the movie.
It's interesting that Jose, didn't like it, having not seen The Crow. Like he's still not interested in this trailer
because it just looks like a bad generic. It just looks like a bad generic John Wick with a guy who's invincible ripoff.
It does, yeah.
It's a very generic vibe to it.
It's really actually like I'm still reeling from my meanness to Jose, and I'll buy you a pizza to make up for it.
Don't worry. Oh, hey, I like that.
But in all seriousness, like hearing that how much I fucking loved this movie as a kid, like, and how it Like it really gives you like a proper sense of like moral, like right and wrong from the hero. It gives you this real like, because he doesn't hunt down anybody that was like that didn't deserve it. It was all about vengeance, but it was also sort of about justice as well, and like how like if justice is misserved, like how do you get that back? This whole thing where Jose has just said it doesn't inspire him to watch the movie makes me sad, because the original movie was so good, and they dragged that movie out of the gutter when, like, you know, Brandon Lee was like sadly killed on set, and they still made a really great movie out of it. And like they snatched it from the jaws of defeat. And like, and if you're gonna do a movie, if you're gonna reboot a movie where the main star died on set, it's like a homage like to like all of the old school like myths about death and like and vengeance and stuff like that. Like if you're going to do a reboot of that, you have to pay really close attention to the parts of that movie that like really hit with the audience. Like the way that those two characters die in the original movie is fucking harrowing, man. Like I'm not even sure you'd be allowed to do that now. Like it's like it is brutal. So like so to change that is
and
like,
show
it's
it in the
tough.
trailer
Like,
as well.
And then you're like, all right, so I guess you've got to like make some sort of like some sort of artistic license, and you're going to change some bits. But if you're going to change stuff, I mean, for me, they've taken the car fight scene out of Deadpool, like a bunch of like choreography from John Wick. Okay, well done me.
There we go.
You know, they've taken a bunch of choreography. I can't say it again. Choreography from John Wick, and then they take that like that kind of like almost ridiculous Die Hard like shot where like he shoots the bad guy through himself. Like none of that stuff is original. Like everything that I saw in The Crow, the original the first time, was original. Like everything I saw. Like there's a part where like one of the kids that he's looking after, like he uses his supernatural powers to like squeeze heroin out of her veins.
Oh wow!
Like and like I'd never seen that before, and I was like, that is fucking amazing. That's what true heroes can do. So like I don't get anything of that vibe, that gravitas, and that like and underplayed as well as an anti-hero. So like I am out. This movie's gonna have to do something fucking extra special to get me to go and even watch it.
Wow.
And in the original, you had a brilliant bad guy in Michael Wincott's Top Dollar, because he was, you know, the top villain, but he was so fucking entertaining. In the original, Jose, there is a scene where he literally he's like got one of like his little flunkies who fucked something up, and he just turns around and stabs him through the throat while he's sat in the chair.
Jesus.
And then the guy's just going.
Comes out of nowhere.
Just comes out of nowhere. It's like sudden, and he's just going like he's like taking a really long time to die, and he just grabs a gun off the nearest guy next to him and goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake, die already!" and just plugs him a couple of times in the head.
Oh my God, Jesus,
man, Jose, like if you've got time to see this movie, the original, Jose, I would highly recommend you watching it. Give it a blast, man. Because I mean, like, I think it set the standard for a lot of the movies that we watch now. Like, there's so like some of those like really elongated, like torture scenes and stuff that like that you get in some of like the more like horror movies of these days. Kind of you can kind of see its early lifeblood coming from movies like The Crow.
I think in terms of production design and like that, it was like it nailed that 90s music video aesthetic that a lot of these guys, like people like David Fincher, they started in music videos and then they went on to make all these like amazing grungy looking films. And you know, again, Alex Proyas who did The Crow, the original Crow. Before around that time, he did Dark City as well with Kiefer Sutherland, which is like, again, you want to see like a forerunner to The Matrix and all that kind of stuff. Dark City is a really awesome little film to check out. He hasn't done much recently, and the last thing he did do, sadly, was Gods of Egypt, which oh dear. Man.
I think what Ben was saying, if there's like any good that can come out of the film, well, actually, first of all, the trailer, it should be said, that isn't necessarily a reflection of what the show is going to be, because the people that make the trailer are separate to the people that edit the show and create the show.
Movie.
So
movie.
The film,
movie.
sorry, yeah. So so the trailer sort of needs to be taken with a pinch of salt. But if it is as bad as sort of we're all predicting it's going to be, then kind of the only good that can really come out of it is that people will then go and watch the original and maybe want to go and see the original instead of seeing this film.
They are re-releasing the original on this lovely, amazing 4K restoration box set coming out soon that I have pre-ordered.
I'm excited for that. That'd be good. I honestly thought David was going to say that. No, I haven't got anything to say, but I really like crows because they're in Game of Thrones.
There's a three-eyed raven that is pretty decent in the.
I think the final comment, I think we can pass judgment on this trailer is I was looking at the comments on YouTube. There was a comment I read, and it said, "In the original, Eric looks like he plays guitar for Nine Inch Nails. In the reboot, he looks like he raps on SoundCloud."
Oh man!
And that comment just sums up, I think, what this.
That person won the internet that
Real
day.
quick comment is, I think in terms of reboots, I saw an observation where reboots were a lot better early on when they were rebooting movies that were not done well, that had a good concept and then executed better when they had the technology or the budget. And nowadays we're rebooting movies that were already done well.
I think Hollywood's always done that. They always reboot films that are successful and make loads of money first. I think actually it's the other way around. I'm going to counterpoint you, Jose, in a minute, because I think it's the other way around. Because a film that we're going to talk about on an upcoming pod, when we're going to talk about Roadhouse, and that film, arguably, was it a classic, or was it just like a cheesy 80s B film? Right. So again, I think you should remake films that had a good idea but didn't have that greatest execution or budget at the time. But films that are just fucking amazing, just leave them alone, or do something so different with them that they're like,
I think the better reboots are the ones that had a good idea and didn't have a budget, and that's what they used to do. But now they're just rebooting good at movies that are not doing a good job of it.
And the next trailer we're going to talk about is a film that is, I don't know, is it a reboot? Is it a prequel? It's a prequel to it's kind of like a film that's been slotted into an existing franchise, I guess. And that film is Alien Romulus. Now, we talked a little bit about this film on our Preview of the Year episode, with most of us being fairly interested and excited about it, except Ben, who wanted to eject any new Alien film out of an airlock. But from the opening creepy corridor shots, Freddy Evil Dead Alvarez, he has me for this trailer. It looks and feels much closer to Evil Dead than Aliens, as a group of youngsters are stalked and killed by our favourite xenomorph as they attempt to salvage from a derelict space station. You got tons of face-hugging action, lots of people running around screaming, someone with a really long tongue / tentacle. You got that iconic image near the end of Katie Spaney with a gun looking a little bit like Ripley. And going back to the original font is a big statement of intent for me. I think this is going to be a very good body horror stalk and kill film along the lines of the original. But will Alvarez and audiences take the time for us to get to like and care about these characters before he starts offering them? And it's a big debate in horror these days. A lot of horror people say you can't do the slow build up anymore. You need to get straight in. And this sounds like it's going to be much more a horror film than it is a sci-fi film, judging from what I see from the trailer. I like this teaser trailer because it literally sets a location, throws a bunch of face huggers at you, few bits of blood and entrails everywhere, so you can see that some bad shit's gone down. And as I mentioned before, this is actually supposed to be set after Alien and before Aliens. Alvarez, because he was such a big fan of the originals, he went and got the Xenomorph crew and artists who worked on Cameron's Aliens. So I'm quite excited about that.
I love that. Oh, yes. No, I am very excited because of everything you mentioned. It seems like he will take his time. And if you look at the Aliens movie and even the original Alien, they both took their time to set up characters, set up the scenario, and then allowed for things to be built up. And I think that according to this trailer, like I said, we have all said that trailers aren't always the most accurate in depicting the movie. But according to this trailer, I feel like it's a very high potential of that happening in this movie. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, I think originally it was going to be like a Hulu only release, and then they've obviously sent and go, no, we're putting this in the cinemas. So that gives me a lot more confidence in it as well. What about you, David?
I mean, I didn't know that, and that gives me less confidence, if anything, that it was going to be a
Oh.
But no, I'm genuinely really excited for this. I'm happy that it's going back to its horror roots because Ridley Scott's Alien is my favorite. I prefer that to Aliens. Which might be a bit controversial amongst people, and I'm glad that we went to me before we went to Ben and his negative ass, because you can just see him smirking away, and you know he's going to say something negative about this trailer. But no, I'm genuinely thrilled that it's going back to its horror route with the trailer. It's just as long as there's a ginger cat called Jonesy that's just somewhere about that just causes some sort of havoc and gets someone killed, I'll be happy. I'll be there for it.
So you want a cat, basically?
Called Jonesy. The cat called Jonesy.
I know Jonesy.
Yeah, well, you was acting like you didn't know Jonesy.
Oh, if you're a listener and you have a cat named Jonesy, please tell us by Twitter or X. Let us know. Send a picture. We love cats.
Cool, Jonesy. Ben, you look very happy and excited to talk about this trailer. Go.
I hate the prospect of this movie so much. I didn't watch the trailer, so fuck you guys.
Oh,
Did you actually
man.
not even watch the trailer?
Didn't even watch it. I'm so out. I'm so out of Alien
Where
movies.
did it go wrong
They
for you?
peaked at Aliens, and then everything after that, I was just like, oh god, really, guys, come on. Like,
Alien 3 wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
wasn't good either. I'm just but there's more appealing sci-fi for that out me. I don't care about this movie. I don't care they're making it. I think it's hilarious that it was going to be a Hulu only thing. I've just found this out from trying to read the notes, but like just Neil beating me to it there. But what the hell, man? I mean, like, yeah, well, we've let this product slip to the point where it's like, well, Hulu will throw a bunch of money at it and try and see what shit sticks to the blanket. Like, and then all of a sudden someone goes, oh, it's actually pretty good. Let's try it in the cinema.
Wait a minute.
Watch the trailer, man. It looks good. Just do it.
Does it?
Do
Here's
it.
the thing.
It's a proper teaser, man. It's like a minute and a half.
The
Prey's
price.
a good example, actually, yeah.
They were produced
I
by
watch it
Hulu.
now.
as
Am I
well.
going to be angry at you guys?
They were produced by Hulu, weren't they? Wasn't it? Was it released?
It was straight to Disney Plus.
Okay, so
Wasn't it?
I think that's an example that I think now with this, that it's going to do the same with Prey.
Well, I think Prey again on paper. Oh, a Predator prequel. That sounds bollocks. And then,
Yeah.
and it's a Native American girl. Oh, how can she fight a Predator when all these tough macho man commandos? So all that bollocks online when it come out. And then you watch Amber Midthunder in it, and you're just like, no, she absolutely can take down a fucking Predator by herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she owned it. I'm just going to watch this trailer real quick.
Right. So, Ben watches that.
While we listen
We
to
can
him
hear
watching
it. Let's have an audio commentary from Ben whilst he's watching this trailer.
I muted my mic, but I'm going to turn it back on. Oh no, Alien got out. Oh, facehugger. Run. Do you think they made it?
I think she did at that point. Yeah, I think she was safe there.
That whatever that was down her throat wasn't fun,
That
was
didn't
it?
look good, no.
Oh, that ship's blown up. Oh, more facehuggers. Oh no. Why do they walk around with masks on?
Stop the facehuggers, I'm guessing.
Where did she get that pulse rifle from?
I mean, it's
Nah, I'm still out.
Ben's still out.
Oh,
no.
Still out. Like it's like they've gone for like, ooh, wow, facehuggers, like fucking pulse rifles, yeah, all the stuff that you love. Oh. And this is coming from the guy that thought that Ghostbusters Afterlife was fucking amazing because it had all of the points I wanted to hit. Like, I don't know. I will go and see this movie because you guys are so like into it, and I will.
Well. We won't force it up on you. We'll go and see it, and if we like it still and it delivers, then we'll say no. Actually, it's good.
I'm gonna go and watch it now. And if it sucks, I'm coming to your houses and hurting you.
Actually, Ben, you'd be welcome at my home.
I'm gonna face hugger you.
Jose's laughing because he's in a different country, but Ben goes to your country a lot, Jose.
I have my ways.
He's an international man. Well, I actually we got a comment about the Alien trailer from one of our followers on Twitter, and Desert of the Real podcast said, seeing something about tight, grimy corridors, glimpses of jumping facehuggers, body horror, and only a little look at the xenomorph makes us very excited.
Nice.
So basically, Ben's the poo-poo man here.
it is a bit peculiar why they I like the fact that they hid the xenomorph. Like we don't know what it looks like.
It is a teaser trailer. It's
know,
literally
yeah,
about a minute
like-
and a half. Like there'll be more trailers that probably show the whole film if they know what they do.
You know what this reminds me of is the video game Alien Isolation.
And if they're cribbing from that, that's a fucking brilliant idea because
It's
that was
great game,
terrifying.
yeah.
Yes, because it really goes back to the same thing. It goes back to the original Alien. In that game, you don't attack the alien. You are just
You just fucking
Staying
run
away.
and hide.
Run away,
Exactly.
look
You're
at
on
the
the
little fucking bleeper thing, and make
Mhm.
sure it don't go bleeper.
And I feel like, honestly, because it was a Hulu, and knowing that Prey was so good, I'm slowly adding more expectation.
And give some credit to Fede Alvarez. He's done some good films, man. Like his
Yeah.
Evil Dead remake was really
Definitely.
good, and he did Don't Breathe as well, which was really good. As
Ooh,
well.
yeah.
So you know, guys got
I
chops.
would prefer the more psychological like vibe of Alien or like Aliens, where it like creeps up on you, than if what you've been saying about like horror movies have got to come out swinging.
Well,
like, I
that's
don't know,
what I'm
man.
wondering
Like,
on this one, right? Will it give it time to build up? But I mean, nothing happens in it for about the first hour in the Alien, right? But when it
Yeah.
does, you're like grabbing your
Yeah,
fucking chair.
because it ferments.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and I don't know. I'm still out, but like, all right.
It's been a while
I'll,
since I've seen Aliens, but that's the opposite, isn't it? Doesn't that come
Nope.
out pretty quick? I can't
Aliens takes
remember.
its time as well. It's
Got to
it
build
takes
up.
about-
Got to build up the characters. Got to build up Paul Reiser being a massive shithead.
Actually, you'd never
Yeah.
really know, and because I've seen some I watch movie reactions of people watching things. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, Paul Rudd, he's a nice guy," and then
Paul Rudd.
he's
Paul
not,
Rudd was in Aliens.
not Paul Rudd, Paul Reiser, right? Paul Reiser. No, I don't even know.
Paul
Oh,
Rudd
this
could have been in
guy.
it. He's been in a lot, man.
I at a Comic-Con ages ago, I met Michael Bean, and I was chatting to Michael Bean about Aliens,
man.
and I probably made myself a right fucking tit of myself at the time.
No, not you.
I
Had you
know,
had
yeah,
5
I know.
beers?
You wouldn't think of it, right?
What did you say
And-
to him?
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't remember. I probably did make a tit of myself though.
He went, "You got any beers behind there, mate?"
Oh,
I
I
probably
had
got it
5
wrong,
in the
yeah.
queue, and then threw up on him.
Yeah.
Side note: he would have made a great Cyclops in the 90s.
James Bond. Oh,
Yes, he
If
would.
they made an X-Men in the 90s, he would have been a great.
He would have been a good
Cyclops.
Winter Soldier as well, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, he would, Jose. Anyway,
on the nose,
moving
but
on.
okay.
Moving on.
Moving on. Neil can't be wrong.
Pick up a penguin trailer, and Jose will have no meaning what that means because it's a. Did you have penguin chocolate bars in the States?
I did not know.
We did in the UK. It was not made from penguins or any penguin products, but
That's good.
chocolate bar that had a picture of a penguin on it, and the advert used to literally be pick up a penguin.
Oh, that's cool.
How many it was?
And they had amazing jokes on the inside of their chocolate bars.
Coming from the Batman's Matt Reeves this autumn / fall. Hey, there you go, Jose. I said fall for you. Is HBO Max's The Penguin, an 8-part gritty story of the rise of Oswald Cobblepot, Gotham crime lord, played under a ton of prosthetics by an unrecognisable Colin Farrell. So the first thing when I saw this trailer, it's like a teaser one. It's just Farrell delivering a monologue, really. And I was like, they're going for full-on Soprano / Godfather vibes here, aren't they? I mean, and the question is, like, we know he's a villain, but he's your main character. So are we going to like his Cobblepot and, like, root for him in it? Or is he going to be, like, an anti-hero that we kind of cheer on even though we know he's a shithead? I love the fact you've got Kristen Milioti in it from Palm Springs and Black Mirror. She's awesome in lots of stuff. You've got Kurgan from Highlander in it, Clancy Brown's in it, and Mark Strong. Now, as we mentioned again on previous podcasts, hopefully this is the Gotham City crime show that Gotham itself wanted to be and sadly wasn't. Guys, what do you think?
I'm excited, and I think the Sopranos reference is spot on because
HBO, right?
yeah, I mean that, and it's just that without Sopranos, it would be very difficult to imagine a crime lord as a lead that we were gonna kind of almost even root for. I don't know if root for is the right word, but at least follow and enjoy seeing being bad, because the Penguin also in the comics are like, do we really want to watch a show about him? Yeah, I think Matt Reeves did an amazing job with
Love the Batman.
Colin Farrell as the Penguin, and the fact that you couldn't recognize him just was the way he even talked about being in that makeup. He was able to transform himself, and I gotta commend him. I never really thought Colin Farrell was like the best actor, but seeing him in the Batman, I really respect him.
Farrell's hit and miss for me. I think when he's got a good director and a good script, he can be amazing. And when he's got a crap director, he's just bland. I've mentioned it before. I fucking hate the Total Recall remake. It ruined my birthday. Saw that on my birthday. It was terrible. But then you put Colin Farrell in anything with Martin McDonagh. So, Banshees of Inisherin,
in Bruges.
The Lobster.
Killing of a Sacred Deer. David.
Yes, David has now watched the trailer.
Thank fuck for that. You've only had a
And-
month.
No, I think what Jose was saying hit the nail on the head. Like it seemed like a proper transformative role for him with the amount of prosthetics. Like how long do you think he was in a chair for before having to film?
I don't know.
Go on
but I'm,
set, film all these
I'm
scenes.
sure you
20
can
minutes.
Google that and tell us.
You reckon 20 minutes? You reckon he was in there?
Of course not.
Like this seems like a good 3 to 4 hour transformation that he's going to have to have gone through
Yeah.
every time for every scene.
Well, I feel like many transformations they get more efficient as the time goes on. The makeup is going to be good no matter what, because once they got it down for the film, I think the show is going to be solid.
What was funny was that, like you said, I remember people going, "Well, why did you cast Colin Farrell if you can't tell it's Colin Farrell?" And it was like, because he's that fucking good in it.
Mhm.
Right? That's why. Like he wanted a role where it's like, oh, I'm not recognised as Colin Farrell. I can literally just, and like you said, when underneath all those prosthetics, he can really inhabit the character more. He can become the character. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Looking at this trailer, it's set. It's like the rise of the
Yeah.
Penguin to the point where you see him take flight almost in the Batman, right? So it's his origin story.
I thought this was set.
I
thought this was set after the Batman.
Interesting. So I can't tell from that trailer. There's a scene in it where he's like Colin Farrell's Penguin is wearing like a leather jacket and he looks a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Which is
Plenty flashback.
I don't know if they're going to be doing like a flashback type vibe, or is this like a him after the Batman telling the story of his.
I reckon.
I mean, like, I'm a little confused as to what it's going to be. It does look beautifully well done. Like it looks very well informed from movies like The Godfather and Goodfellas, and also The Sopranos and stuff like that, which could really really like make it deliver something that I wasn't really expecting. So from that point of view, the trailer looks fucking phenomenal. It doesn't give a lot away again. Like I'm just a bit like, oh man, like I'd kind of like to know maybe what I'm getting into, but does it matter because the Batman movie was good and this is going to be directly tied to it? So I don't know. It's a quandary for me. I'd like to know a little bit more, but I won't look it up. I won't research it. I'll just wait until another trailer drops like a lazy fuck.
Jose, you got into the scripts, didn't you? And you put a whole bunch of things in here, which we're going to quickly run through because we really don't have time to go into a lot of depth in all of them.
I would just say notable mentions, real quick. I really am looking forward to the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
That looks great.
Reacher and Superman in a movie. That's awesome. There's an updated trailer for Fall Guy, which actually makes the movie look better in terms of just not being campy. And I mean, I think it's really the Ryan Gosling effect. He's be playing a comedic version of a stuntman, but the stunts I heard are this movie is directed by the guys who did, or one of the guys from
Deadpool, wasn't it? David Litch.
There we go. So they wanted to make this an homage to stuntmen,
and of course he was a stuntman back in his day, wasn't he?
They got Tom Cruise in to do all the stunts.
Yeah. So so these stunts are going to be legitimately good. And news of that movie, this movie has now the most roles in a movie filmed. It surpasses Casino Royale, which had the record at 7, and this one has 8.5 roles in the for a car.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what you were on about.
Yes.
Those rolls, like someone's doing
So
roll
there's
police.
a stunt where the car rolls, and then it's now being
it flips and rolls sideways down
Correct.
the road. So
Yeah.
I actually thought you meant the size of the cast when you mentioned rolls.
rolls.
And like,
ROLES. There's also an updated Monkey Man trailer, but by the time this comes out,
which I'm seeing like 2 days time, so I'm very excited about that.
So that movie just looks amazing. There's a Red Band trailer for Boy Kills World, which we mentioned earlier, which I think is going to look hilarious.
Which we'll briefly mention. Yeah, this is, so we talked about this before we were recording earlier, before you got your bed. So Boy Kills World is another Bill Skarsgård action film where he plays someone murdering a whole bunch of people. Except in this one, his inner voice is voiced by H. John Benjamin, Archer himself.
What?
Yes.
And it looked so much more entertaining and fun and original. Because already you've got an original idea. Wait, the guy can't talk, but we got a different actor completely voicing his inner thoughts. And he just sounds like Archer. Like it literally is like, as I was like, this is like psychotic, can't talk Archer. I love it. I really want to see it.
I can't tell if Jose is trying to do the Archer voice or not.
No. But just for a few people that Famke Jensen's in this, Samara Weaving, and Sharlto Copley, the guy from District 9. And I mean, Sharlto Copley, he is amazing. He doesn't pick a role that is bad. So for him to be in this, I'm really excited. And it's basically a future where people fight to the death and the sponsors are cereal brands. And I'm like, this is hilarious.
So Running Man crossed with Deadpool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Voiced by Archer. I'm there. Opening day, man.
Yes.
Sounds great.
Lana!
And I was about to say, in the final trailer you mentioned, Jose, is Kinds of Kindness. The favourite and Poor Things director, Yorgos Lanthimos' new old new film, because he made it in 2022 before he made Poor Things, and it's only just now coming out. But it's got all the actors from all his previous films in it. So Emma Stone stars again in it. William Dafoe's in it. And I love it because you look at the trailer, you're like, I have no idea what the hell this is about. There's literally just one shot of each actor in a random scene, and that's the trailer. I was like,
it's great.
Brilliant.
It looks good. Lots of great things coming. And to be honest, a lot of these, not all of these, but a lot of these were just not on our list at the beginning of the year for movies to watch. So I
was thinking that there's I've seen so many things recently. I'm just like, man, if I'd have known that was coming out and seen this, I'd have put this on my list for sure.
Yeah, it's really
Like,
interesting what
you know.
what kind of announcements we're getting this year.
I was just gonna say, and our lists were like fucking awesome at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Like there was full of
Yeah,
awesome.
they were,
shit.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
now like it's just fucking crazy how amazing.
Yeah, just
Mhm.
wait until the end of the year when you have to break
It's
it down
gonna-
to your top 10 for films and TVs. And a late bit, as we record this, we're a day removed from one of the most late-breaking pieces of casting news, and that news is the Silver Surfer has been cast for Matt Shakman's Fantastic Four. And I'm fairly certain no one would have guessed his casting because it's Ruth from Ozark, the great Julia Garner. And cue insecure man babies on the internet complaining about gender swaps and wokeness, and even calling for boycotts. I actually saw a
For a
video.
boycott.
I saw a video of a guy literally just ranting. I didn't watch the whole thing, and he's literally just slamming Marvel for being white. And I was like, have you actually done your research on the article? Because if you did, like I did, not knowing anything about the role, because I'm not that big on the comics of the Fantastic Four, it doesn't take you long to find out that Garner is rumored to be playing Shala Bell, who is the comic book female version of the Silver Surfer, and in some of the comic books, actually the wife of the more well-known Norrin Radd Silver Surfer. Or at least so Google says. Ben, you're a Marvel guy. What's your take?
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Like this is brilliant cast. They're really taking like this job seriously, casting this movie, because they know this is really Marvel's last shot at rebuilding the success that they had with the Avengers. So I love this casting. The Silver Surfer at different points in the history of the comic, there's been a male Silver Surfer, there's been a female Silver Surfer. Then they, like Neil said, were married at one point and both served Galactus at the same time. So there was two Silver Surfers at one point. So this fits perfectly into the Fantastic Four lore. Now, I don't know exactly when this movie is set again, because when we were talking about it earlier on in the year, there were clues as to maybe it was going to be a period piece, maybe it was going to be set in a different dimension. We don't know, but however they're gonna feed into it, I think that choosing that this particular casting, looking at the actors' like previous work, like you need someone stoic, someone that takes no bullshit, someone that's gonna just like feed this Silver Surfer role of just like, yeah, I just fly around and I look at planets and I go, come and eat that one. And I don't care. And then, you know, you come to Earth and you meet a few people who have got some powers and you go, oh, hang on, is this am I doing the wrong thing here? And I just think she's got it. I think she's got it in spades. I think she's got the stoic, like hard face to be the Silver Surfer, but also she can break that quite easily, I think, and crack like the Silver Surfer does and become a superhero on Earth, which is amazing. David, what do you think, bro?
I'm not as well versed on the Fantastic Four, and hence why in a previous episode I was asking you about Mr. Fantastic being the godfather, like the father of the MCU that you mentioned he was. I've only seen the Silver Surfer in The Rise of the Silver Surfer, and I didn't actually get what that character even was from that film.
Oh, damn.
So
You didn't get
what is
the Silver Surfer was the Herald of Galactus.
No,
yeah.
so what is the Silver Surfer? Because someone just
Silver
explained it
Surfer
to
is
me.
like the location scout for Galactus. I always say that wrong, but it's he, she, they. However, I don't know if at one point they were androgynous, but there's they basically scout out the universe for planets that are rich in biology to feed Galactus. So the Silver Surfer would fly thousands of light years and be like, "Oh, I found a planet." Give his boss a call. Come and eat this one. It's delicious. So he's sort of like
Okay, but
Galactus's
what is it? What is
beef
it?
eater.
Though? Like what is the Silver Surfer aside from being that?
Just an alien dude with a silver
Ooh.
surfboard.
How-
At the most basic.
Yeah, kind of like you get given the surfboard and it gives you these powers, so you can like you don't have to breathe. You can fly through space, and you are sort of impervious to everything. You can get knocked off the board. Some people are connected to the board and don't lose their powers, and they can get back onto the board. Some people do lose their powers. It depends on what part of the
Okay.
what Fantastic
I
Four you're
hope
reading.
it's explained in this one. Like for
I don't think
people like
it's
me
going to be
who just-
explained any better, because I don't think it's something that you can explain very
He
easily.
just has cosmic powers, is really what it comes down to.
It's like it's a
Pretty
herald.
much, yeah.
I mean, do you remember in Infinity War, David, when that guy turns up and goes, "You're welcome. You're going to be killed by Thanos. Rejoice." He's kind of like that, but he doesn't talk.
Oh, Squidward.
Squidward,
Yes.
Yeah.
He's basically. I would say he's a cooler, much cooler Squidward.
And he
Okay.
also changes sides. He leaves Galactus at one point, joins I don't know which team he joins now.
Probably the Avengers
he's on
or
the
the
Avengers at one
X-Men or the
point.
Fantastic Four himself, probably.
Yeah, he joins the Fantastic Four at some point. So there's he's got fantastic powers and is kind of rad.
I'm halfway through my WandaVision rewatch, and I have complete faith in Max Chapman with the cast he's assembled so far. And when he was talking earlier about when's the film going to take place, I think it's going to be like in an alternate 60s timeline. So you can do like the birth of Marvel and birth of comics and really kind of hone in on like a reboot of the whole thing. And like we said, Garner is just an excellent choice, man. I saw a really cool theory online that I love this idea that what's going to happen, or what could happen in this, is that the Fantastic Four fail and their Earth actually gets destroyed by Galactus, and that somehow that necessitates their move to the main MCU timeline. And of course, if you had that with Galactus literally ending the Fantastic Four film with Galactus destroying the planet,
Yeah,
and the Fantastic Four literally just getting yanked out last minute, that's a hell of a cliffhanger to leave it on. If you spend long enough building them up and making you care about the people on the planet and all that, and then you destroy it and yank them out of it, that gives you that Infinity War moment in one film if they can do it well.
Yeah, it does. That's clever. That's good. I mean, like, I'm wondering if the Deadpool movie is going to have something to do with it. If there's going to be like the Deadpool movie is going to have somehow some effect on him pulling these characters into the MCU. But seeing as that
What movie, Ben?
I don't know anything about this Deadpool movie that I have just spoken about.
You've just broken your own embargo on.
Yeah, I know, but like I'm just spitballing here.
By the way, Ryan Reynolds plays Deadpool. Spoiler.
What? God damn it!
Last comment on this trailer. We got a comment from the Gentle Dorks podcast, and they said, I think all the trailers you mentioned have done a great job of hyping up attention and looking forward to seeing them. As for the casting of Julia Garner, I love it. She was fantastic in Ozark, and I can't wait to see her as the Herald of Galactus. Also, loving the fact trolls hate it so.
Yeah.
That actually, like, I quite enjoy that the trolls hate it. I'm just like, yeah, fucking do your research or don't, or get in the sea.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Get in the sun. And finally, sad news, and that is that Sabrina and Gen V actor Chance Perdomo recently passed away at the age of only 27. I mean, 27 is really no age, and Perdomo was right at the start of his career, especially as one of the leads of Gen V, which obviously, understandably now, has postponed season 2, and I imagine there'll be a lot of behind-the-scenes rewrites and planning to take care of it. But yeah, very sad. Chance Perdomo, he was only 27.
It's just sad. It's just really, really sad. Like, he was fantastic in Gen V, and without sounding contrived or anything, like, it's horrible to think about the people that work with him and are going to miss him now. Like, that's rough, and his family and everyone. But like, yeah, sucks.
Well, that brings us to the end of our time today, gentlemen. I'd like to thank my guests for joining me today. Jose.
Cheers, mates.
David.
Cheers, mates.
And Ben.
Cheers, mates.
Yes, Ben.
Is that how I
He didn't
sound?
let me down. He didn't
Is
let
that
me
how I
down.
For
Jose.
sure, man. You fully sound like that.
Okay, that's really good.
Totally,
I'm
dude.
I'm dating an American. It's part and parcel.
And we'll see you next time.
We needed roads.